The winter illness finally reached our household, which means I was unable to do day 20's review. I then couldn't do day 21 due to being busy anyway. So here we are on day 22. I think we've got some catching up to do. Hello and welcome to another video on JD's Booze Reviews. As I mentioned, we're kind of doing a bit of a triple header today as we start with day 20, which is Gordon Xmas, an 8.8% Scotch heavy, or a wee heavy, or a Scotch ale. Your version of what this style is whatever version you think it might be. But this is from a Belgian company, I believe, which is Timmermans. Although when you look on Untapped, it does say someone's name and then for Timmermans or something like that. Can't remember exactly what now. But yeah, this is a classic Christmas beer. This is one that quite a lot of people have probably already had. I have not had this one yet. It has skipped past me. So yeah, looking forward to giving this one a try, because it is, yeah, as I said, kind of a quintessential Christmas beer, really. I've seen it for years and years and years. I mean, the design on the bottle is very retro, and I even believe, I think this year is celebrating its 100th anniversary. So yeah, there's definitely some vintage in this brand and in this beer. So yeah, let's get it put into a glass and we'll see what we're working with. Here we go. So I imagine it's going to be quite dark. Yeah, quite nutty, quite dark. Not quite sort of port. It's not so, not sort of stout and porter darkness. It's still got kind of there is a bit of lightness to it. It's quite clear. But obviously, yeah, definitely on the darker side of things. That is a smell I have never smelt in a beer before. That literally smells like mince pie. Like, that is very fruity, spiced. Yeah, that is a very interesting aroma. It's one that I've never smelt before, so I'm like unsure on it. But yeah, that just smells very, very of the season. And not quite as what I was smelling on the flavour, but that is very warming. I mean, at 8.8% it's going to be. Yeah, that is caramel, like a sweet toffee. Yeah, very nice sweetness to it. It reminds me of something that I will try and work out. Bonfire toffee. This literally tastes of bonfire toffee, which is, more a November thing than a December thing, but who am I to judge? But no, it does feel like it has a place for this time of year. It's very, it's very festive. It's warming, it's spicy, it's in like a festive spice sort of way, nutmeg, cloves, that kind of vibe. Yeah, this is a very nice beer. maybe a little oversweet. It's kind of getting, I wouldn't say overbearing at the moment, but it's definitely starting to the not excitement, the enjoyability of it is starting to wane. Now I'm starting to go, yeah, it's just sweet, 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 sweet. It is very sweet throughout. There is no real change in tone and change in approach from beginning to end. It is just sweet caramel, sweet syrup, bonfire toffiness throughout the whole drink. As I say, no real bitterness. Just, yeah. Like sugary beer. It very much tastes like, it's quite like with homebrewing, like when you taste the wort, which is after the boil, before the sugars have been converted into alcohol, you get that a very oversweet flavour because, you know, the sugars, as I say, the sugars are just sat there waiting to have their time to become alcohol. But that hasn't happened yet because you haven't had the yeast added. So you get this very sweet, slightly warm, because it's just on the boil, liquid. It's obviously very chilled, but I do have that very similar similarities. Very similar similarities. What a phrase. So yeah, I mean it's enjoyable enough, but yeah, the sweet side of things it does start to become tiresome towards the bottom of the bottle. Should we move on to day 22? Well, of course not. We've got day 21 to go first. So, first of all, for day 21, we have Shine Like Millions by Pentridge. It is a 6.8% India Pale Ale, an IPA, featuring some hops. It does not say on the can. But yeah, Shine Like Millions, which is, I believe, a beer that they've done before. This is with the newer design, with their newer artwork that they have on their new cans. Previously, the text was sort of in the middle and just sort of very one-noted, whereas now they tend to have a very eye-catching image and then the text underneath, which is, you know, definitely a better eye-catcher. But yeah, this probably, well, we've had a fair few IPAs on this advent calendar. I think I counted 8. So this will probably be this is either the 8th or the 9th. So let's see how different they are and what this one has to bring to the table to do something different. Right. Well, that was good. I decided to not look for a second and spilt it all the way down the other side of the glass. So slightly less. Gonna get slightly less out of this than I probably should, but okay, this is one of the IPAs that's seemingly not mad juice. Definitely a like a tropical citric aroma, but I do get a smell of a bitterness, an earthiness. One of those ones where it's kind of multi-layered, where you've got juice and sort of earthiness, woodiness, not woodiness, pininess, resinous sort of flavours. Very hop forward ones. But yeah, that smells very enjoyable. In terms of the colour, it's very Very, very, very hard to see through. Not massive, not completely, well, yeah. It's not, it's an interesting colour actually, I think, looking at it. It's definitely not one that is a usual colour. They're usually slightly lighter than this, I find. Whereas this sort of sunset orange as opposed to like a blonde colour. But yeah. Okay. Getting like a peach. A peach flavour. Very like tutti frutti like. So yeah, there's an initial front of this tropical, citric, orange. Yeah, very orange. Orange peel, that kind of flavour initially, followed by a bitterness to sort of complement it. It is a two-step process. It isn't happening all at once. So definitely get that citric, orange juice, peachy sort of flavour. And then, yeah, the bitterness kicks in. The bitter notes, the bitter flavour. Still got that nice hum of citrus, of orange. But, yeah, definitely have this quite nice, bitter, piney finish. I always say like earthy, because it does taste a bit earthy, grassy. But it kind of makes you want to keep going back for more. Problem with, like I said, the problem with the last one, it was very one-noted. It was very sweet, 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 sweet. Whereas this is juice, 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 bitter, bitter, bitter. And that kind of changes it up a bit and makes you want to go back and go, I really like the memory of the first taste, the first feeling when it goes, when you take a sip. I want to go back to that, so you keep drinking and keep drinking and keep drinking it, which is great for drinkability. Yeah. Definitely something a little bit different to some of the other IPAs. There's some very similarities again. I love that phrase, clearly. Yeah, there's some similarities with some of the beers. They have kind of all, IPAs are IPAs, a style's a style. And they're going to have similarities. So trying to compare apples to apples, isn't it, really? But, yeah. Taking the beer on its merits, on its own praises. It's a very nicely easy to drink beer for the percentage that it is. And probably want to go clambering back for. So let's jump to today's beer, day 22. Definitely day 22 this time. So for day 22, we have Mini Mars, or Mini M-Star RS for legal reasons. It's a Stellar Stout. It is 6.2% from Vault City, and yeah, from the name, I'm going to guess this is very much going to be like a Mars bar. So, going to be caramelly, chocolatey, yeah, all round, a bit velvety, smooth. Going to be an all round good time, I think, especially with it being from Vault City. Let's See how this one fares. Right, let's pour and not pour all over the floor like the last beer. Doing 2 or even 3 beers in a row is too much for me, clearly. So to say that's 6.2%, was it? Something along those lines? That smells very boozy, very chocolatey, very imperial stout-like. Yeah, that smells chocolatey, sort of. Yeah, it does smell kind of, yeah, caramel-like. Slight vanilla sweetness. Chocolate in bucket loads. Like, literally, it smells like hot cocoa. Now, that's all of a sudden changed. I'm now getting a sweet vanilla sort of aroma, more obviously. And now back to the chocolate. What an interesting aroma. And hopefully it follows through, and this is going to be a very good beer indeed, I think. Interesting. First of all, smooth like chocolate. That is very smooth. The flavour, though, is very intriguing. There's some stuff going on here that I can't quite get my head around. Very sweet. Not quite as sweet as the one I had at first of all on day 20. But yeah, very, very sweet initially. Or a very, very strong sweetness. That then, well, when I put it in my mouth initially, I just left it in my mouth for a split, a little bit longer than normal. And I got almost nothing. This is a beer that is sort of, once you swallow, you get all the flavour. Oh. Doing that really brings out the sweetness somehow. Interesting. Can't quite get my head around it. It's very, very sweet initially, and then I start getting chocolate, this sweet vanilla type flavour that I'm getting throughout. It's like a sweet vanilla. Leading to a chocolatey, coffee-like, caramelly, finish. Yeah, that is interesting. I won't quite say it was Mars bar. I'm not making them connections. Apart from it being a caramel sort of sweetness. But the problem is, with a stout, it's going to be, what was it? Yeah, it was a stout. If I remember, it's going to be it's quite coffee, is what I'm getting. Which stouts just naturally have that sort of flavour profile. So to me, it's kind of like a caramel latte. Yeah, it is like a caramel latte rather than a Mars bar. It's, yeah, I'm not sure I'm too keen on the over sweetness. Again, kind of with the Gordon's. It is very, very sweet. But unlike the first one, it does at least try and change the story towards the end. But the problem is I don't think it does quite enough to do that. I get these hints of chocolate and caramel and vanilla, but yeah, it doesn't quite come to fruition. Like, when I come to finally giving this like a rating on Untapped, I may have to sit for a while because I've had a few sips now and I'm feeling a bit sickly. Maybe because of the first one as well, with the Gordons, because that was very sweet. But yeah, this is, I can't work out whether I like it or hate it, is one of them ones. Yeah, like every time I take a sip, I'm like, oh God, that's sweet. Do I like that sweetness? I don't know. Yes, no, maybe. Verdict's out on this one, I think. So that's going to do it for today. Thank God. 3 beers done. All fairly higher, in that sort of higher end of percentage. So I'm going to have a very nice chilled out evening tonight. You can guarantee that. So don't forget to subscribe so you can see the next video when it comes out. Only a couple more days. I went and picked up Day 24's beer today. And very excited for that one. Gonna probably have to make sure I'm not driving that day, which I should be okay with since I filmed these quite late at night. But yeah, make sure I have not too much with it being Christmas the next day. But anyway, that's a few more days away. We've still got one more beer before that. So join me tomorrow for that one, and I will see you then. Cheers.